This is just an academic exercise. As I go through all this stuff, let's remember, I am not the science. I am not the authority. No one is. We are all humans, so I can be wrong. Correct me. Let's work together. Welcome to another episode of Last Week in UTS, where I talk about things that I did last week. We've been discussing a lot about how these systems that are deployed throughout your daily existence, in your car, at the airport, in your home, at your office, everywhere, we've talked about how these systems are collecting all sorts of data about you. We've also talked about how the data which these systems collect is then analyzed at scale by these explicitly and implicitly interconnected algorithms, the matrix, to spit out eerily accurate predictions of human behavior. Well, the predictions haven't been enough. UTS is being leveraged and has been leveraged for quite a while to manipulate human behavior. Let's just talk a little bit about how this happens. The idea is to better inform you as to what is being done with all of the data that UTS is collecting and analyzing at scale. Maybe you already know all of this stuff, but hopefully I can frame it in a way that allows you to make some use of it, whether it's for yourself, for your family, your friend circle, your job, whatever it is you want to do with it. A lot of this began with the seminal work done by Thaler and Sunstein called Nudge. This book in 2008 started changing the game. They started explaining to people that subtle nudges, instead of shoves or big attention-getting ad campaigns, could be much more effective at selling a product or getting people to do something. This is independent of the context in which it is used. That means this is not a specific public health thing, this is not an advertising thing, this is not a sports thing, this isn't an entertainment industry thing. This is, in general, applicable across all of humanity. Some of the people that took advantage of this work or decided to put it to the test were over at Facebook at the time. Some of you may remember the 2012 emotional contagion controversy or research, whatever you want to call it, from Facebook, where they started purposely making one cohort's posts negative and the other cohort's posts positive to see if they could, in fact, carry out emotional contagion digitally. You think it succeeded? Yeah, it succeeded. So everything that was in this nudge book, Facebook started realizing, oh my goodness, we can do this exact same thing, except we can do it at scale digitally. This is before the term UTS, ubiquitous technical surveillance, was even born. And all of this started coalescing around the work of a guy named Skinner, this dude right here. And he created something called the Skinner box. What he was doing is he was trying to teach rats, I know I'm paraphrasing here, forgive me, go read the entire paper if you want, I'm just doing this for a YouTube video. He was trying to train rats and pigeons to pull a lever and then get a reward. But making the little treats that they were getting was pretty time consuming. So what this guy did was, I'm just gonna give them the treats maybe 1 an hour. You would think that the fact that every single time they pulled a lever, a treat did not come out would make them less compulsive. In fact, it made them more compulsive. This intermittent reward system is something that Skinner stumbled onto, which is what social media companies have really grabbed onto. Isn't this crazy? We are using behavior that we learned from rats and pigeons in order to addict an entire population digitally. Our reward, unlike the rats or the pigeons, isn't even food, isn't even something that's going to keep us alive. It is something intangible that simply makes our bodies respond and create this dopamine hit. One of the big differences now with this social media and its application of the intermittent reward thing that Skinner was talking about is that, unlike back in the day when people would be addicted to opium, you'd have to go to the opium den, you'd pay something and you'd use the opium. And then casino, same thing. You have to go to the casino. You have to give them money. You have to physically do something. A lot different than the phone. The phone is using that same reward mechanism, except you don't have to go anywhere. You can stay exactly where you are, which is what they count on. They can get you anywhere. And in her book, Addiction by Design, the author says that slot machines are intended to put you in this sort of trance, to take you away from where you are. Unlike before, when casinos were very noisy and they had lights all over the place, now what they're doing is they're creating an immersive environment for you. They want the air to be clean. They want you to be immersed in a world that is your own, no matter where you are in the casino or how many people are around you. Social media is doing the same thing. I'm sure a lot of you have talked to someone who's looking down at their phone, doom scrolling, and you've had to say 3-4 times, hey, 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 because they are entranced, just like people might be in a slot machine. Some great research was performed in which they explicitly look at digital slot machines, which is social media platforms, as what they call attention scaffolds, which are mechanisms that we build up to hold our attention. They are extremely effective for humans. We are very susceptible to all of this. I recommend looking through the paper. The conclusion of it pretty much is what we already know, but they did a really good job explaining and going through exactly how social media is purpose-built to grab your attention to the detriment of your overall health. One of the interesting things talked about in this paper is that social media addicts you to anticipation. You're not actually addicted to looking at stuff that your friends are posting. You're not actually addicted to the likes. You're addicted to that anticipation of something happening. A couple of very interesting little diabolical tricks that I've seen recently are, for example, streaks, where a social media platform will tell you, you've gotten 3 posts in a row. LinkedIn is very notorious for this, where they say you should be posting 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and they keep nudging you little by little until they make you post. It's fascinating. Another one of the cool tricks I've seen, well, cool, interesting, sort of clever, evilly clever, is that they will give your video for no reason a hot streak. TikTok is notorious for this. In fact, there was an article, well, several articles, which covered that TikTok had a heat button where if you posted 100 videos, one of those 100 videos would go semi-viral, meaning it would have an inordinate amount more hits than your usual videos. And this would compel you to try and do that again and again. You'll see social media guru after social media guru saying they know the algorithm, they know how to make you go viral, when in fact, there's no such thing. Everyone is simply paying for likes. Some platforms are just more transparent than others. TikTok, for example, just lets you buy straight up likes. I mean, look at this. This is a screen capture. They're telling you, how many likes do you want? Here's how much money it's gonna cost you. At least they're straight up about it. It's gotten so bad that addiction center websites now have TikTok addiction on here. They have something that they even call TikTok brain, which is what I've been talking about before about why I don't make short form content. I don't do the clickbaity stuff. I just sit here and talk like I'm having a boring conversation with you. And if you want the information, great. All this other weird stuff I do is just because I like the art of it. I'm kind of learning the camera, I'm learning video editing. Then I can learn more about these systems so I can then share it with you. This stuff is having true physiological effects on all of us, and likely on your kids if you have kids, or your friends who are supremely addicted to this stuff. It is getting your brain conditioned in the same way that cocaine conditions your brain, or so I've heard. You're likely experiencing phantom twitches going after your phone. How many times have you picked up your phone thinking that you've heard a call or seen a notification come in or the light comes in, but you really didn't get anything? You might be alone in the room. It wasn't somebody else's phone. This is because your brain is conditioned to that response. If you haven't picked up your phone over a certain period of time, then your body says, I need to do that. And it almost is just a reflex. That's how bad and how deep this goes. The reason they're able to do this is because of all of the data that is gathered through ubiquitous technical surveillance. All of that stuff that we talked about, from the airport to the irises and everything else, that is used to further the nudge technologies that were started all the way back in 2008. And it's used to feed the algorithm and use your attention and your biology against you. What happens is, we're trapped inside a pitcher plant. A pitcher plant is basically this plant that lures in insects and small mammals. It smells great, it looks great, it's nice and cozy, it makes you feel good. But once an animal crawls inside of it, it is stuck and it is slowly devoured. It might not even know it's being devoured. It just can't get out. It tries to climb out the sides and it cannot. So here's what I'm telling you right now. Delete every app that you don't need. Get off of every social media platform that you don't actually have to be on. I know, we all got to exist. I want to see pictures of my friends' kids and their, vacations and their pets. But slowly but surely, if you start being conscious of these things, if you start saying these things out loud, if you start doing more research, I think we can all crawl out of this digital pitcher plant that we find ourselves stuck in. If you want more information, reach out to me, because you're here because, yeah, you know me or you clicked the wrong button.